Hi, I wanted to show you how to use the Venn diagram function in PATRIC. Let's say we want to look at genomes that are resistant to two antibiotics at the same time, and we want to look at those in a specific group. Let's try Mycobacterium tuberculosis. I like to use the global search function, even though there are other ways I could do it. I could go in through organism and get to the genus and then filter down. But if I use the global search function, it'll show me the genomes, the features, the taxa, and any experimental data. So now we just have to wait for this to load because it's a lot of data and there are a lot of Mycobacterium tuberculosis genomes. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time. There was the genomes at the top. Here are the features, and here's the taxa. So I want to go directly to this species. So I click on that. And it takes me to the landing page for Mycobacterium tuberculosis. It shows me this is just all the data that's assembled there. And you can see, as what recently popped up, a graphic depicting the different resistances or susceptibilities to different antibiotics. The details of that can be seen in the AMR Phenotypes tab. So let's click on that. This will load a table that shows us all the genomes and all the resistances and susceptible phenotypes. Let's click on the filter here. This opens up a dynamic filter in PATRIC. And one of the things I want to point out is that we do a computational prediction of whether a genome is susceptible or resistant. But we also collect all the metadata on these individual genomes that have been done by other researchers and experimenters in the laboratory. So this is the safest method, I think, to look for things that are resistant or susceptible. So let's click on that. And this will refilter the table. And now you'll see that we have the laboratory results on these particular genomes. There are 71,000 and change that document the susceptibility or resistance. Remember, we're interested in resistance in this particular exercise, so let's click on that. And it will refilter the table. And now you see we've gone down to 16,000. And so here, let's say we want to go and look at isoniazid or rifampicin. So if I click on this, it's going to refilter the table again. And what I'm asking it to do is show me all the genomes that have been confirmed by a laboratory method to be resistant to isoniazid. And then if I clicked on rifampicin, it would refilter the table and oh, it went up. The reason it went up is because what I'm asking it is to show me all the genomes that have been documented to be resistant by a laboratory method to this or this antibiotic. But what the question we're actually asking is resistant to this and this, a subset of that data. So how do we find that? Well, we find it by creating genome groups. So let's first unclick one of these. And it's going to refilter the table again. And then what I want to do is to create a genome group. So I click on this. And it's that checkbox will select all of these 2,800 genomes. And then in the vertical green bar, I will click on the group icon. This will open a pop-up window. I want to create a new group. And I'm going to call it tuberculosis genomes resistant to rifampicin. And then I need to click on the add button. And you see it'll show me when it's added that. So now just to make it clean, I'll unclick that. I'll unclick this. And then I'm going to click on this other antibiotic. And the table will refilter to show the genomes that are resistant to that. I click here. And once again, I create a new group. Click on that. Change it to new group. And then say tuberculosis genomes resistant to the second antibiotic. And add that. So now I have two groups. Here's the message that tells me I successfully created it. So now I have two groups of genomes that each have been determined by laboratory methods that they're resistant to either this antibiotic or this one. Let's go into our workspaces and click on genome groups. Now I have a lot of genome groups because I use the resource a lot. To get to the ones I most recently created, I'll click at the top of this column, which will auto-select or which will refilter it by most recently created. And here are the two groups I created. So I just click on both of them, and you notice in the vertical green bar, it gives me a different icons of possible downstream actions. Click on the Venn diagram icon. This automatically creates a Venn diagram showing all the genomes resistant to one antibiotic and to the second antibiotic, and this group in the center is that subset of those genomes that are resistant to both at the same time. To see what those are, I click on that group, and then it will show you exactly what those are. You may want to create a group within PATRIC. You may just want these right here. You went to a lot of work to create this group. You want to save it. So let's click on create the selected group, and then we want to view it within PATRIC. And here's the table. Here's what it's named. It's a long name, but you'll easily be able to recognize it. And these are the particular genomes that are resistant to both of those antibiotics at the same time. And that's how you use the Venn diagram function. You can compare up to 3 genome groups at the same time. Thanks.